My next guest is Tina Seifert with Avera Smith's office in Lake City, and one of Tina's specialties is divorce, and I'd like to talk about what that involves and what people need to know when they're involved in a divorce. Welcome, Tina.
Thank you, Linda. I'm happy to be back. Let me just start off by kind of giving you a basic about divorce. I guess what I try to tell people when they come into the office is, let's make sure this is what you want. Divorce is a final thing. It's something that you can't go back and change. So most good attorneys should really talk initially about, is there a chance for reconciliation? Would counseling possibly help? Is there something that we can do to maybe make this marriage continue to work, especially if children are involved? But if the people know that, there's absolutely nothing that can be done, then we go ahead and look at proceeding with the filing of a divorce petition.
And let's start with that. That's the first step, is that you file the petition?
Well, actually, the first step is getting a whole bunch of information together in order to file the petition. And when I usually meet with someone, I'll kind of outline some things that they're required to get together per the Florida rules. And I get a basic information from them about date of marriage, place of marriage, children, and things like that, and then go from there.
So I'm sure there's a lot of considerations, but the major ones would be things like, where are they going to live, tax situations, right. What else, 401ks.
People, when they think about getting a divorce, think, okay, I'm just going to go in there and it's going to be over, and
cut it in half, and then.
But you really have to look at everything, and obviously if you have children, it becomes a little bit more complicated as to some of the issues you need to look at. But as it relates to assets and debts, you really need to think about everything. You need to think about banking accounts. You need to think about retirement plans. Your husband and or the wife may have a retirement plan through work that you may be entitled to a portion of that. You have to look at stocks, bonds, CDs, things that you may have just put on the shelf and not thought about recently, are some things that you really need to be aware of and be prepared to find out information about them or know their value, so that when you go into court, you're able to really assess how to divide that asset. As far as debts, you really need to look at not only credit card statements, but mortgages and vehicle liens and that kind of stuff. So there's a bunch of things you really need to get together.
And so the best way to do that, I would think, would be if they could work those type of things out first between the two of them, but that's not probably always the case.
Yeah, it seems like whenever they come to us or come to an attorney, they haven't been able really to resolve things. And sometimes once you give them kind of a game plan and, hey, this is what you need to look at, sometimes they are able to reach an agreement. But obviously it's much easier to try to reach an agreement than to let a court decide, because when the court decides, they don't know you, they don't know your husband or the wife. They're going to make the decision pretty much with very little input from you. So you want to be in control of the situation and try to resolve that between the two of you if you can, with the assistance of an attorney.
Because maybe one of the parents is going to be a better custodial parent for the child at the age where they are, or whatever that situation. Maybe they have extended family nearby.
Well, those are things that the court will look at. Now in Florida, basically, Florida has finally recognized that parents are parents. They try not to designate one parent as a primary residential parent. Basically, they want to set up a parenting plan, and that's what parents need to do. They need to both be there for the child. They both need to spend the maximum amount of time they can with the child, and those are some of the things that the court has now moved to. And they kind of give you direction on some things that you need to look at, school, visitation, those kind of things, and how to address that.
So that's the one area that people need to put their personal feelings aside and put the children first. And Tina, we're out of time, but thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm sure there's a lot more we can talk about with divorce.
Thank you.